ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the Southeastern Conference.
Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Xfinity. From Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina, third-ranked Clemson, which has won 26 in a row, looks to get one step closer to another college football playoff berth as it takes on the Gamecocks, who already have knocked off a top 5 team earlier this season, winning at Georgia. Hi, everybody. Dave Pasch alongside Greg McElroy, Tom Luganbill on the field. And Greg, it seems like coming into the year, everybody was talking about Clemson being the best team, and now most people are not talking about them as the best team. Dabo Swinney on the field was laughing with us, saying, hey, thanks to ESPN, I got the easiest coaching job in America trying to motivate my guys. And how about Trevor Lawrence? Is anybody playing better at the quarterback position right now than him?
If you look at his last 4 games, if those 4 games would have taken place in September, he might be in the driver's seat to win the Heisman Trophy. However, in September, he was pressing. He was trying to win the Heisman, considering he was the front runner coming into the season on every single throw. However, these last few games, he's really started to hone in with his protection understanding, his accuracy, and his decision-making has been far improved. He's playing the best football of his career.
He's been outstanding. Their defense is pretty good, too. Let's check in with Tom for more on that.
Yeah, coming into the season, guys, so much of the focus is on what they lost on defense. But the #1 player on this defense, Isaiah Simmons, I think is the best player in college football on defense, not playing in the front 4. And it's the most loaded, versatile defensive secondary Dabo Swinney has ever had. This defense is for real, and they haven't gotten enough accolades to this point.
Dabo Swinney, Tom, 12th year at Clemson. He's won 2 of the last 3 national championships. And he has won the last 5 games against Clemson's rival, South Carolina. Last game of the year for South Carolina, because they're not going to a bowl. They want to make it count and knock off the defending champs. South Carolina won the toss, elected to defer, so Clemson will get the ball first, and Travis Etienne, one of the most dynamic players in college football, is deep as we are underway in the Palmetto Bowl. Etienne from the 5. And he's past the 30-yard line and out to the 36.
Settle in and enjoy it. Time to the Tigers for the championship. Lawrence with the rush coming. Touchdown. That kid cannot be 19 years old. Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama.
Trevor Lawrence is a different guy this year than where he was a year ago.
Trevor Lawrence looks like a generational talent.
This guy is a phenomenal talent. And 6 straight games with 3 or more touchdown passes. The 20-year-old sophomore has been brilliant the last 2 months. Give it to Etienne, and it's a flea flicker on the opening play. Lawrence throwing it downfield, and it is juggled and incomplete. Intended for Higgins, and Israel Mukuamu did a heck of a job to make sure that wasn't a big play to start the game.
Slightly underthrown, a lot of contact there as Trevor Lawrence tried to take the top off the defense on the first play of the game. Mukuamu's a tough matchup given the fact that he's 6'4" at corner. He's going to have his hands full working against T. Higgins and Justin Ross throughout the course of the game.
Clemson 11-0 for the 2nd straight year. They will play Virginia next week in the ACC championship game. A ton of room here for Etienne out of the backfield. And he's got a first down. That's his 26th catch of the year. Lawrence, in his first 4 games, had 5 interceptions, which was more than all of last year, but he's only thrown 3 recently, and 22-0 as a starting quarterback, closing in on 60 touchdown passes and 6,000 yards. Etienne with room off the right side. Picks up about 7 yards. Etienne averaging close to 9 yards a carry, which is #1 in the country.
He's had an incredible year complementing that vertical passing attack. So much of the preseason accolades went in the direction of Trevor Lawrence and this outstanding receiver core. But Etienne, from the start of the season until now, has been as good and as dominant as any back in college football.
The reigning ACC Player of the Year. Flexes out wide here on 2nd down and short. Lawrence with a quick throw, and that was off the mark, intended for Higgins. A big 3rd down here for South Carolina's defense. Gamecocks have dealt with a lot of injuries this year. One of the reasons why they have struggled down the stretch here, losing 4 or 5. They got a pretty good player up front, and Javon Kinlaw is going to be a 1st-round draft pick. And see if he can make something happen here.
Kinlaw's lined up here over the center.
Lawrence's pass to a wide open Ross. 1st down inside the 40-yard line.
With the dominant defensive tackle Kinlaw, it's going to be important for Trevor Lawrence to get the ball out of his hands quickly. He does so here. A nice job on the outside by Justin Ross on a little snag route. You see that stack alignment. Nobody accounts for Ross as he works it back out to the sideline. It's an excellent call. A good conversion on 3rd down.
Lynn J. Dixon in the game at running back, and he's going to get the call here inside the 30-yard line. Close to a 1st down as he was shoved out of bounds by Ernest Jones.
And guys, that's the area that Will Muschamp, the head coach at South Carolina, was really concerned about coming into this game. For 3 straight years, South Carolina has not stopped the Clemson run game. They have got to get their defense off the field, limit possessions for this Clemson offense, and the only way to do that is to win versus the run on early downs.
And on short yardage here, 2nd and 1, I might take a shot downfield if I'm this Clemson offense.
Just going to hand it off and easily get the 1st down. Dixon straight ahead behind that senior-led offensive line. They have 4 seniors up front and a sophomore, Jackson Carman, the left tackle.
It's probably the group that doesn't get enough love. I mean, so much attention to the talent and the skill on the perimeter and at running back and at quarterback. But this offensive line, for the most part, has been very solid throughout the course of the year with the occasional lapse in protection.
Lawrence on the run, and another pass that's off the mark, intended for Amari Rogers. It almost hit Luke's there on the sideline. So it's been a slow start here for Trevor Lawrence. He's been off target on a few throws.
Just a little bit. I mean, you can see he's making the right decision, and that's what's most important. He's going to the right place. However, the accuracy just slightly off. Underthrow the deep ball early, missed the slant low a couple plays later, and then there on the move trying to work the corner route just slightly outside.
Play action. Lawrence's pass is caught on a wide receiver screen by Ross, and he's bottled up after a gain of about 3. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and 7. That was Jamie Robinson, a true freshman safety, in on the stop.
You know, Greg, you look at this South Carolina defense, and what they just did right there was tackle after the catch. That is paramount for them in the defensive back end. Now, because of that tackle, you force a 3rd and long.
Longest active win streak on the line, and a lot more than that for Clemson. 26 consecutive wins, trying to get back to the playoff. Lawrence steps up, has a ton of room inside the 10, and Lawrence tackled inside the 5-yard line. He's a very good athlete who has 7 rushing touchdowns this year after 1 all of last year.
Now, this is the one part of his game that has been really good all season long. Nothing there. Sees the middle of the defense vacate because of the route progression, and he goes vertical, and you see that athleticism. He's a big guy, 6'6", 220-plus pounds. So he's a load in the open field with a full head of steam.
That was a 21-yard run, 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. And Etienne hit hard at the 2. Gain of 1 on the play, brought down by Kinlaw. Etienne, 14 rushing touchdowns on the year. See if he gets the call here on 2nd and goal. Etienne trying to find a hole, pushes the pile, and he's brought down short of the goal line by Robinson. Third down and goal from the 1-yard line.
See Etienne kind of stumble a little bit, trying to decide the best place to enter through the offensive line. You got to think 2 downs to get it here for Clemson. If I'm them, I'm keeping it on the ground. I challenge my offensive line.
They got a tight end, Luke Price, in the game at fullback. Here's Etienne getting the call, pushing forward. He did not get in. It is 4th down. We'll see if the Tigers elect to go for it from inside the 1.
It's a good initial surge. It felt like as he kept fighting, does he get there? But a good spot by the officials as you see the ball in the left hand of Etienne. Brought up about a half-yard shy.
And they're going to go for it. Clemson bringing in several big guys. They're making another substitution here with a play clock at 10. They might have to burn a timeout. Yep, Dabo going to call it.
Dabo's livid, guys.
Saw several players run onto the field then jog back off, so Dabo has to burn one early on. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Xfinity as part of the Jiffy Lube Rivalry Series. Moments ago, Dabo Swinney upset, had to call a timeout. His kicking unit was on the field, and he said, "Get off, we're going for it."
He had a few choice words for his son.
Yeah, and you'll see Swinney run right by him, and he wasn't pulling any punches for his boy, that's for sure, and he's getting after one of the coaches in charge of substitution as well.
They've got a defensive lineman, Niles Pinckney, and Tyler Davis. The 2 starting D tackles are in as the fullbacks. Etienne, the tailback. And now they shift Lawrence. Direct snap to Etienne, and he is stood up on the 1. South Carolina takes over. T.J. Brunson was there first. What'd you think of the call?
I like the call. It was an excellent play by Brunson. You watch him meet at the point of attack, chase leverage, and Ernest Jones was there as well on the inside. That was an excellent stand defensively. Look at Brunson get to the outside. Jones there to clean it up. Excellent play by the South Carolina defense. 4 consecutive runs, unable to cross the goal line. Great stand.
And now Ryan Helinski, true freshman quarterback. As you see, they're lined up about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Dowdle, the running back, is a couple yards behind him, and Helinski going to throw. And it's caught past the 20 by Shi Smith. Their best receiver, Brian Edwards, is out today with an injury, so we imagine Smith will be targeted often. That's a 21-yard gain.
And last year, South Carolina did a great job against this Clemson secondary by creating matchups against their safeties. That, I think, is probably going to be the recipe again today, even though Brian Edwards, their outstanding senior wide receiver, one of the best in program history, is unavailable, which is a huge loss. But the challenge is going to be on Shi Smith and some of these other young receivers to step up and pick up the slack.
Clemson bringing some pressure here. They run Dowdle, and he gets maybe 2. Pinckney on the stop, along with Justin Foster. 19-year-old Ryan Helinski, who had to take over for the starter Jake Bentley at the beginning of the year. Bentley got hurt against North Carolina the first game of the year, and Helinski's been the starter since. He'll throw it again here. It was deflected at the line of scrimmage and incomplete.
Something interesting, too, guys, with Helinski in this offensive game plan. After that first down play, he ran over to the sideline to get the play himself, ran back into the huddle. Now they've gone straight to the line of scrimmage. We see Clemson's guys taking a little while to get lined up.
It was Xavier Thomas that deflected the pass on second down. Here's Helinski to throw on third down, and it's intercepted at the 40-yard line by Kendrick. And he brings it back inside the 25. Darion Kendrick with the pick, his second of the year.
This was a great job by Kendrick. The throw was inside, and the reason why it was inside, if you look at the defender there in the flat, Kayvon Wallace, number 12, see him drift back into the corner route. He's trying to throw it inside of Kayvon Wallace as he drifts back. Therefore, the ball stays inside, and Kendrick's able to make a play on it. That was a good job by Wallace, playing with the quarterback's eyes, and an inaccurate throw by Helinski, trying to force it in when it wasn't there.
And look at what Clemson has been able to do in terms of turning turnovers into points. Only Alabama's been better the last 2 years. That's the 25th takeaway this year for Clemson, third in the country. And Lawrence going to throw it here on first down. There are a lot of contact, and flags come flying in. Mukuamu all over Justin Ross at the 9-yard line.
You got to be physical with these receivers, but you can't grab the jersey like Mukuamu did there.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 24. Automatic. First down.
And they'll spot it outside the 10, so they can still get a first down before the end zone. First down on the 11-yard line.
South Carolina is going to be physical at corner. They really want those defensive backs to disrupt the game. However, you can't take it too far, and there Mukuamu clearly grabbing way too much cloth results in a 15-yard penalty.
Here's Etienne off the right side, in trouble in the backfield. Does well to get back to the line of scrimmage before he's wrapped up by JT Ebay and Ernest Jones.
South Carolina early really seems to have a nice beat on this Clemson run game, and they're leveraging the football back inside, really giving nowhere for Travis Etienne to find a crease.
Now, Muschamp really likes how South Carolina matches up with Clemson. I know the Gamecocks are 4-7. They played a brutal schedule this year, and they had that win over Georgia on the road. Out of an empty set, here's Lawrence on second down with a quick throw that's high. Intended for Ross. And so it is third down and 9.
Little bit off for Trevor Lawrence here in the early going. That ball, big wide receiver, you want to throw it high. That one just a little bit too high as they were in that empty set, which is such a good formation for this Clemson offense. All about creating matchups in this part of the field, and Trevor Lawrence does such a great job throwing the back shoulder. If he can find a one-on-one, he might try to take advantage of it.
Lawrence looking at that bunch formation. Here's a fade to the corner, and it's beautifully thrown to Higgins for a touchdown. 9th touchdown catch of the year for T. Higgins, and Trevor Lawrence with his 28th touchdown pass.
It's a beautiful throw right to the spot. When you're throwing the fade in the end zone, you aim at that back pylon. That's the landmark for the wide receiver. T. Higgins was holding his landmark perfectly, and Trevor Lawrence dropped it in the bucket for the first score of the game.
Here's Potter, and it's 7-0 midway through the first quarter here in Columbia. Since 2015, Clemson has not lost when it scores first.
ESPN College Football is presented by Xfinity. Get the ultimate in-home Wi-Fi experience with Xfinity XFi. And in part by Jiffy Lube. You can do more in a jiffy.
Last win for South Carolina was Steve Spurrier as the head coach back in 2013. Since then, Clemson has won 5 in a row. It's the 117th meeting between these two schools. They've met every year since 1909. This will be a touchback. Let's go to the studio and check in with Matt Berry.
Guys, good afternoon. Checking in on Michigan and Ohio State. First possession for the Wolverines. A little trick play to Giles Jackson. 22-yard touchdown. They missed the extra point, so it was 6-0 Michigan. Ensuing drive, J.K. Dobbins had 79 yards. Ohio State answers now up 7-6 early in the first.
And the Buckeyes will play the winner of Wisconsin and Minnesota, a game that you can see on ABC next. Meanwhile, Rico Dowdle is in the game, taking the direct snap here at quarterback, looking for some running room, trying to get to the perimeter. Can't. He is spun down for a loss by Isaiah Simmons, who Tom talked about at the top of the telecast. Let's go back to the touchdown. Was there offensive pass interference here?
You'll see the push off right here. Watch this right arm from T. Higgins. It's a push off. The problem is for the officials, it's low. It's not up around the head. It's not up around the shoulders. But Will Muschamp really upset with the officials as he saw that hand extend to create a little extra room. Understandably so.
Walensky to throw here underneath. It's behind Markway. Why do you think you finally get a possession where you're starting on your own 25? Because you started on your one the first possession, and I know that Walensky threw a pick, but why run the trick play with a direct snap? Why not try to get your offense into a groove a little bit here?
Just another thing for the defense to take account for. You want to throw a bunch of looks at him early in the game, force him to burn some chalk, force him to make some adjustments defensively. So a little wildcat is something that they have used in the past and will use again. Want to see whether or not it'd be effective early so they can come back to it.
See if Clemson comes after him here on 3rd down and long. Only rushing 3, and it's a screen that Clemson's Skolsky reads beautifully. Takes down Feaster, who played at Clemson for 3 years, won a couple of titles before transferring to play for South Carolina. So a 3 and out for the Gamecocks.
It's a great job right there by Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator for Clemson. A tendency breaker, 3rd and long. A lot of times you'll see Clemson bring the heat, force the ball out of the quarterback's hand. A great counter to that heat is running a little quick screen like that. However, he called off the dogs, he dropped guys back out, and Skolsky made a nice play.
Venables in his 8th year as the Clemson defensive coordinator, one of the best in the business. A short punt, but it takes a South Carolina hop, and it forces them to scoop it up on the 30. Kendrick, who had the interception, and he's out of bounds around the 36-yard line. 49-yard punt. Flag down at the 33.
Getting the return, holding number 26, return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So Sheridan
Timeout.
Jones commits a penalty. Clemson up 7-0.
You're watching the Jiffy Lube Rivalry Series.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. South Carolina and Clemson kicking off the final day of November. Hard to believe the regular season is over after this weekend. Clemson will play Virginia in the ACC championship game, and Trevor Lawrence over the last 5 games after, by his standards, a rough start. 14 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a touchdown pass today that was beautifully thrown on the last possession. From the 25-yard line, little misdirection run for Etienne. He's grounded at the 29 after a gain of 4. Lawrence, a true sophomore from Cartersville High School in Georgia, number 2 overall on the ESPN 300. He wears number 16 to honor Peyton Manning. And last year became the first true freshman quarterback to lead a team to a national title since Jamel Holloway back in 1985 with the Oklahoma Sooners.
He's so gifted. And when he's on his game, man, good luck. So fun to watch.
Gonna run it again. And Etienne is close to the line to gain. Will stop forward progress at the 34, so 3rd and 1.
You know, Greg, when you talk about being on his game, I think so much of that this year is just taking what's in front of him, not trying to hit the home run, not looking at it as if we don't hit the 40-yard pass, it's an unsuccessful play. That's been the difference in him the last 7 weeks.
Yeah, really stayed within the offense these last few weeks, allowed his playmakers to come to the forefront, and obviously the results speak for themselves.
Now 2 tight ends there on the left side here on 3rd down and 1. Running Etienne, who's upended. It looked like he got the ball across to move the chains. Ernest Jones with a tackle. So they almost lost to North Carolina. The Tar Heels, a failed 2-point conversion. And since then, Clemson has been the best offensive team in college football over the last 6 games, winning each one by 30 points or more. They've won 4 in a row by 45 points or more. No one in the history of college football has ever won 5 straight by 45 or more. Lawrence off play action, steps up, takes a shot downfield, going for Higgins. It's a touchdown. What a throw by Trevor Lawrence. 65 yards.
This is just an unbelievable throw. I mean, you look at Trevor surveying the field, moving, buying a little extra time, getting all his weight behind it, puts a ton of air under it, and allows Higgins to run under it.
Right, do you see his back leg?
I mean, he unleashed that one. So just a little bit of a glimpse of the arm strength that Trevor Lawrence possesses.
That was silly, wasn't it? And then Higgins running by eBay. 65-yard touchdown pass and about 55 of it in the air. And Clemson up 14-0. 2 touchdown passes already for Lawrence. Coming this week on Sunday NFL Countdown, how the legend of Heisman Trophy winner and MVP favorite Lamar Jackson was born. Plus, Randy Moss ranks the best catches from college football. And the crew reveals the top Turkey Bowl play from across the country. Catch Countdown tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Were you a Turkey Bowl guy growing up?
I was not, no. Believe it or not, they didn't do the Turkey Bowl.
You played the real thing, I guess. So it's the us wannabes play Turkey Bowl. Well, South Carolina this year had lost its quarterback, Jake Bentley, the first game of the year against North Carolina. They lost that game. But remember, they beat Georgia in double overtime on the road to get to 3-3. But since then, they've lost 2 in a row and 4 of 5. Their losses have been against A&M, Tennessee, Florida, Missouri, Alabama, North Carolina, and Appalachian State. Bentley done for the year. So true freshman Ryan Helinski has been the starter all season. Already thrown an interception in this game that Clemson turned into points. Could easily be 21-0. Remember, South Carolina stopped Clemson on 4th and goal from the 1 on the opening possession. And another negative play as Feaster is wrapped up in the backfield by Rudolph, a loss of 5. Injuries have been a problem, though, for South Carolina. They've lost 2 quarterbacks to Kerryon Joyner. He's the backup quarterback. He got a concussion against A&M. He's not available today.
Here we go with Helinski. You see the huddle now. This is what they're doing. They're going to come into the huddle so that they just don't line up and give Clemson a look.
It's so hard sometimes to overcome those key injuries.
Feaster able to break a tackle at the line of scrimmage and get positive yardage out to the 28.
You're a team like South Carolina. Your margin for error is remarkably slim, especially when playing against some of these really talented teams that they've seen throughout the course of their season. When you have to play Alabama and Texas A&M and Clemson and all these, Georgia. I mean, 3 of the best teams in America, and they got the win against Georgia. It's been really, really tough sledding, and you certainly can't do it if you're less than 100% with some of your stars missing.
Pressure coming off the edge here. Everybody covered. Helinski is sacked. Back inside the 25, Isaiah Simmons in the backfield again. Boy, is he special.
And you're going to see pressure coming around this edge, and they're going to swoop it. And as a result, Helinski tries to moves a little bit too far. And Simmons is able to rally back and drag down the freshman quarterback as Helinski's walking off gingerly.
And we talked about the injury to Joyner. The next quarterback is Jay Urich, who's played wide receiver this year. He did get some snaps at quarterback last year, but not this year. Good punt. And the fair catch made by Kendrick at the 27, 45-yard punt. Here's Matt.
Guys, it is Rivalry Saturday, so we'll check in on Georgia Tech. Jake Fromm going to have to find a new target. Lawrence Cager out. Tyler Simmons, good catch. And then Brian Harrion takes it in for the rest. Bulldogs up early on ABC, 10-0.
And obviously Georgia has LSU next week in the SEC championship game. Clemson is in the ACC title game against Virginia. South Carolina's season is over after today. Trevor Lawrence, who's red hot, 2 touchdown passes already. Back out there. First down on the 27-yard line. A little quick pitch to Dixon. He gets smacked at the 31-yard line by Jones. Gain of 4.
See Jones get up a little slow there. He's been so good for South Carolina this year. Him and TJ Brunson have really solidified a position that has been a bit of a problem these last few years for South Carolina. The linebackers. Brunson was playing out of position in the middle. He's now been fortunate enough to switch to Will, where he's a little more comfortable because of the emergence of Ernest Jones.
They shift Amari Rodgers into the backfield and pitch it to him, so he's got running room on what's a forward pass, and he's past the 40-yard line. Remember, he tore his ACL back in March, and he returned week 2 against Texas A&M. Hasn't been as productive this year as many people thought he would be.
How does that even happen?
I mean, it is amazing
to
think how quickly you can come back from that, and it's a testament to Clemson's medical department and Amari Rodgers grinding through his rehab.
Fresh out of downs on first down. Here's Dixon trying to get the perimeter. He's into South Carolina territory. So a gain of about 14 yards. First down.
And the speed of Clemson really starting to show here. As you see Wanham at the end, he's in a good spot. However, he loses contain as Dixon gets around the edge. In between the tackles, South Carolina matches up pretty well. But when you get these athletic running backs and wide receivers on the perimeter, that's where it becomes extremely difficult to contain this Clemson offense.
And here's Dixon again, and this time he's gobbled up by Rick Sandage after a 1-yard run, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. Clemson trying to get to 12-0, win its 27th consecutive game and 12th in a row on the road. Leading South Carolina 14-0. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. 14-0 Clemson over South Carolina after 1 this season. For every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganbill back in Columbia, South Carolina, where Clemson is rolling. Dabo Swinney's team trying to get a step closer to another college football playoff berth. Trying to win the title for the 3rd time in 4 years. Only 2 schools, Nebraska and Alabama, have done that. Lawrence throwing it downfield again. Incomplete. Intended for Justin Ross. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9. J.C. Horn in coverage. Really good corner. Let's take a look at the college football playoff rankings. Now think about this. At the beginning of the year, we had a Clemson game, and at that point, Dabo Swinney's like, I'm trying to do everything I can to keep the guys motivated. And now he was laughing with us on the field before the game, like, I don't have to do anything to keep them motivated because we ranked 3rd. Nobody's talking about us as a championship team.
So he's got the easiest job in the world, quote unquote.
3rd down and 9. Lawrence rolling out. And throw off the mark. So South Carolina gets a stop. It'll be 4th down. But boy, if Trevor Lawrence keeps playing the way he has since that North Carolina game, are they the favorites to win the championship?
They are. I mean, just because of their championship pedigree. They've been there. They've done that. They've won it. They know what it takes to play a 15-game schedule. And with all due respect, the talent level that both Ohio State and LSU have, who are clearly in the mix as well, the fact that LSU's done it before, or that Clemson's done it before, you got to feel good.
Will Spire's punt is, wow, it takes a huge hop, and then 2 Clemson players collide, and they down the ball at the 3-yard line. Wow, that was pretty unbelievable there as A.J. Terrell and Isaiah Simmons collide here, managing to keep the ball from crossing the plane.
And look who those guys are, guys. That's 2 of their best defensive players on cover teams.
And that also, that's a good shot of just how strong Isaiah Simmons is. Did you see? Because him and Terrell both went up with a full head of steam. Terrell goes flying, and Isaiah Simmons just almost looked as if it was completely unfazed.
Well, I think going back to your point about maybe South Carolina, maybe Clemson's the favorite. It's not just the offense. They lost so many guys on defense last year up front, but they still have so many guys that are talented enough on this defense. And there's Simmons with a tackle, stuffing Dowdle at the 5-yard line. Simmons, a converted safety a couple years ago. He's from Kansas, now in his junior season, and expected to be a top 10 draft pick.
When you get off the bus, have him lead you off the bus. He's one of the best looking players with his length in college football.
Hilinski from the end zone throws it downfield, and Smith trying to break up the pass. It was almost intercepted by Kayvon Wallace. A little jawing going on after the play between the two guys downfield.
Good job by Wallace turning his head around, positioning himself, and Shi Smith having to play a little defensive back. Getting a nice pass break up there because that ball could have very easily been intercepted.
That ball can't be thrown to the inside. Now you're backed up on a 3rd and long.
Averaging about 1.5 yards per play so far. And they just run Dowdle here on 3rd down and long. He makes a guy miss. We'll see where they spot him. Wallace on the tackle. It is a 1st down for the Gamecocks. Probably their best offensive play since the first play where Hilinski threw a strike to Smith over the middle for about 20 yards.
Well, that was a nice job right there by Dowdle, making a guy miss, and that guy being Isaiah Simmons, falling forward for the 1st down.
Hilinski's got to go to the bench here. Jay Urich is coming in the game, so don't know if Hilinski got hurt or if they want to give Urich a play here. Not sure what's going on, but he's out there on 1st down from the 13-yard line, and he hands it off to Feaster. Gain of about 3. That's the first snap that Urich has taken this year under center. He's actually played a little receiver in mop-up duty this year. He got some reps last year at quarterback. It's got to be injury related, right?
I'm assuming. Remember Hilinski, when he got hit earlier in the game, kind of limped off, walked off gingerly.
Greg, I'm down here next to him. He jogged off just fine. I think this is by design. And with Urich, you get that athleticism that forces Clemson to have to defend the quarterback.
And maybe with Dakereon Joyner out, they run Feaster here, and he's past the 20-yard line. 3rd and short coming. Here's Matt.
All right, guys, checking in on Michigan, Ohio State. After an Ohio State touchdown, Shea Patterson finds Donovan Peoples-Jones wide open over the middle, barring the extra points to 14-12.
Shaping up to be another classic between Michigan and Ohio State.
Sounds like a high-scoring affair there. I'm a little surprised to see so many points, knowing how good both those two teams are on the defensive side of the football.
Interesting rotating quarterbacks in the middle of a series. Hilinski back in on 3rd down, and he hits Smith for a 1st down. Got drilled by Wallace, but able to move the chains out to the 25-yard line.
And this is nice, quick feet. Little RPO. You can hand it off if you like the look, but if you have one-on-one, you have freedom to take it. Hilinski decisive, accurate, and is able to convert on 3rd and short.
Greg, he has to be, because he has no mobility right now. If they have any type of drop back game and Clemson comes after him, he's not going to be able to evade.
Huge possession here for South Carolina, trying to keep that Clemson offense on the sideline. They picked up a couple 1st downs, and now Feaster gets maybe 3. They've been trying to run the ball. Dowdle the last couple of games, 21 attempts, 19 carries. So they're giving Feaster some more opportunity here today. The Clemson transfer. He's got over 600 rushing yards on the year. Gets the call again, and Feaster picks up another 1st down past the 35-yard line. He's from Spartanburg, South Carolina, played for both schools.
A nice job here cutting back. See that left side of the offensive line just compress. He runs right behind him, picks up a nice block at the 2nd level, spring him for some nice yardage. Tavian Feaster, him and Dowdle have to be effective here moving forward to get back into this game, take some of the pressure off Hilinski.
They're going Wildcat here, so this is technically the 3rd quarterback they've used on this drive alone, with Dowdle in. Kevin Harris standing next to him. Dowdle keeping it up to the 40. Good hard run by Rico Dowdle. Skalski on the stop at the 43, but that's a 7-yard pickup. South Carolina finally getting into a bit of a rhythm offensively in this game.
And it's been because of the counter run game. You see how fast and active and athletic this Clemson defense is. If you get them running in one direction and then cut the running back in the other, sometimes they can get out of position. It's been beneficial for them.
Dowdle keeps it again here, and that hole doesn't open. Stacked up, able to push the pile though to the 45. He'll come up short of the line to gain. So 3rd down and 1. You in 4-down territory yet if you're South Carolina?
I think so. I mean, last game of the year, playing the field position game against Clemson, given how explosive their offense is not one that can be won. You have to take advantage of your possessions, and so far this is really the first sign of life that we've seen from South Carolina offensively today. So I think you do have 2 downs to get it here, even though you're on your side of the 50.
And it's the 11th play of the drive, and you're on your side of the 50. You got 42 yards already. Hilinski back on the field here. Hand off to Kevin Harris. No, it's a fake. Hilinski throws it down the field to Markway. Inside the 30-yard line to the 25. A 30-yard pass play.
This is a really nice design. You're going to see Markway just kind of sell it and then go. Really well done. You see the commitment defensively from the Clemson Tigers because of the full sellout run look. Markway slips through there and finds space in the open field. And how about the throw by Hilinski off his back foot under pressure, puts enough air under it to allow Markway to run under it. That was an excellent play by the freshman quarterback and a really good call by Brian McClendon.
How about Hilinski hiding the ball behind his back? He hands it off here to Kevin Harris and wrapped up for no gain by true freshman Tyler Davis. I mean, that was a full sellout by taking the ball and actually sticking it behind your back so that the defense can't even see it.
Yeah, the old Favre fake here. There it is. Hide it, hide it, hide it all the way. Full sellout with the run fake. And
Dave, we call that ball handling. We'll clinic for you later if you want.
That was well done. I like it. Little showmanship. Got to have some of that.
See if they can pay off this drive with a touchdown, though. Taking off 6 minutes off the clock here.
So important, Dave, for them to not only come away with points, but just to flip field position, have a short field for this offense.
2nd and 9. Hilinski play action. Markway dropped the ball. And that would have been a 1st down and more for Markway. Couldn't come up with it, though.
Man, this one is just... that just kills you if you're the quarterback. The guy's so wide open, you kind of steer it out there. As a result, you don't have as much velocity on it, so the ball drifts behind the intended receiver. And Markway had a ton of space because of the pressure off the left-hand side. That's one that Hilinski would love to have back.
31 drop passes on the season. They're 3 for 3 on 3rd down in this drive. 3rd and 9. Again, do they run this play thinking maybe 4-down territory, trailing 14-0? You know, it's the first half. Clemson, or rather South Carolina, has to burn a timeout with a play clock at 1. Taco Bell celebrating student section and passionate fans like these, awarding the Live Moss Student Section of the Year. The Gamecock Student Section already on the national watch list. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete or get the committee's attention by using hashtag Live Moss Student Section Contest. 3rd down and 9. Look at this drive. This is the 14th play of the drive. The first 3 drives, they had a total of 9 plays. And this drive started on their 3-yard line. Hilinski's not even in the game again. They've got Jay Urich in at quarterback.
Watch out for pressure from this Clemson defense.
And they hand it off to Feaster as maybe South Carolina's thinking it's 4-down territory and they're going to go for it. Simmons on the tackle at the 21. It's 4th and 6. And they'll bring on the field goal team. Very questionable play calling here. What are they doing?
Just knowing how opportunistic Clemson's defense is, you have to assure yourself points. You absolutely have to, because if you come away from a 14-play drive empty-handed, that is a momentum killer. So I think positioning their field goal kicker exactly where they want, just to make something out of this drive, is the decision that Will Muschamp made.
Okay.
Clearly they don't trust the quarterback.
Well, he's out of the game, right? He had Urich in there for Hilinski. 39-yard attempt. And Parker White gets South Carolina on the board midway through the 2nd quarter.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by General Mills. Bring more to your game day with General Mills tailgate recipes. See what you can create at wearetailgatenation.com.
What's really interesting about that game, Steve Fuller to Jerry Butler, so that touchdown pass was called the catch. We all know that Dwight Clark in the NFL for the Niners had the catch, but Dwight Clark played in that game. He was a tight end at Clemson. Clark passing away June of 2018, a legend in the NFL for what he was able to accomplish in San Francisco. 14-3 Clemson after South Carolina got some points. A 39-yard field goal by Parker White. This one fielded on the 2-yard line by Etienne, and a long way to run. Able to break the tackle on the 12. Here comes a flag, and he's brought down to the 25. And that's the danger there of not fair catching that and just taking the 25-yard line, is that so many times you get a block on the back, especially on those long returns to the opposite side of the
Illegal
field.
block in the back. Number 24, return team. Half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First.
Let's see who's looking good today. Brought to you by DXL Big and Tall. Well, he's big and he's tall and he's looking good. Trevor Lawrence using his legs. See the defense just vacate the middle of the field. He gets north and south to convert on third down. A couple points later, he drops it in the bucket. Beautiful throw on the goal line fade. And then how about this one? 60 yards in the air after he moves off his spot. Trevor Lawrence has been dealing a very hot hand these last couple drives. Not just doing it with his arm, too. Also making a few plays with his legs and accounting for a couple touchdowns.
He was the Heisman Trophy favorite coming into the year. Got off to a little bit of a slow start. We'll see if he gets invited to New York, but unlikely at this point that he's going to win the award. As Lawrence throws here on first down, and wide open in the middle of the field is Ross. Easy pitch and catch out to the 23-yard line.
Justin Ross. I wouldn't say he's taken a back seat to anybody, that's for sure. Both him and Higgins have done an excellent job this year, but Ross, you just thought it was inevitable that he's going to be in the conversation for the Biletnikoff. Hasn't necessarily come to fruition, but he's got a very bright future.
Lawrence going to keep it here and throw it at the last second, and Rodgers is dumped. Big hit by Jamie Robinson, only a 1-yard pickup to the 24.
A good job defensively by Sherrod Green at the end of the line of scrimmage. Getting a pull read, but staying wide, tracking Lawrence, forcing the ball out of his hand, and an excellent job by Robinson. Staying true to his responsibility within the defense and taking care of Amari Rodgers and making the tackle in space.
Second down and 9, and they're trying to set up a screen to Dixon. He is dumped in the backfield by T.J. Brunson at the 18-yard line, a loss of 6.
And you're going to see the left side of this offensive line drop out and try to get it, but T.J. Brunson beats him to the spot, recognizing on second and long they will do quite a few screens. Brunson mindful of that tendency and dropping him for a big loss.
South Carolina rushes 3 here on third and long. Lawrence stepping up, wide open. First down, Higgins at the 40-yard line. And up to the 46, so third down and 15. And they end up getting 27 yards.
This was a beautiful route. Look at the left side. Look at the corner. McQuamu chased that post. This is a post corner route. And watch McQuamu in one-on-one. He just gets turned around. Full sell on the post. McQuamu's still chasing it. Takes him a long time to turn the boat and get back to the sideline. Great route by the wide receiver.
Fresh set of downs on the 45. And a handoff that goes for no gain. Etienne knocked down by Aaron Sterling. 5 minutes to go. Second down and 10. Clemson has won 26 consecutive games. Has one more after this. And if it wins today and knocks off Virginia next week, it will be in the college football playoff for the 5th straight year.
You see that they're just so explosive, man. I mean, third and long, super long, no problem. Strong arm quarterback and a great route running wide receiver.
Lawrence throwing it downfield, and it's caught. Ross, let's see, did he step out? Officials got his hat on the ground. Did he get forced out, or did he go out on his own? It's a gain of 30 to 21.
I think he got forced out by McQuamu in press coverage.
Yeah, I think you're right, Greg.
And he tries to obviously reestablish himself in bounds. He does. Beautiful late hands there by Ross going up and picking that ball out of the air.
Now we got to stop it. They're going to look at it, but I'm with you. I think he was forced to the sideline by the defender. If you go out on your own, you can't come back in and be the first guy to touch it.
He did everything right there.
South Carolina has called timeout to challenge the ruling on the field that the receiver did not step out of bounds and become the first to touch the pass inbounds.
Back in a moment. 14-3 Clemson. So ruling in the field is confirmed. South Carolina loses a timeout and can't challenge for the remainder of the game. As you watch the replay of this, let's bring Matt Austin in, our college football rules expert. Matt, tell us what's going on here, what they're looking at.
We're supporting 3 games, Greg.
Well, I just got to look at the play. The runner, the receiver looked like he stepped out of bounds several feet back. So they could, if there wasn't a hat on the ground, they could be, what was he stepped out of bounds, then the first to touch, which would make it illegal touching, therefore an incomplete pass. I'm not exactly sure what they looked at.
Well, I got to think that they assume McQuamu pushed him out of bounds, right? As Lawrence dumps it off here to the tight end J.C. Chalk, who's knocked down at the 15 by Robinson. Gain of 3 on the play, because clearly the official threw his hat.
Yeah, I think the eventual ruling was the fact that McQuamu forced the receiver out of bounds. He did step out 3 steps actually out of bounds. However, he had 4 steps past that where he reestablished himself inbounds, went up, made the play. I think it was the correct call by the official.
Clemson in the red zone here, trying to add to an 11-point lead. Lawrence on the rollout, in trouble, and dumps it off. And they lose yardage there. Overton on the catch. Maybe there Lawrence just throws it away. So now it is 3rd down and 8 after a loss of 1.
Looks like Clemson's going to employ that bunch formation they threw the touchdown on earlier to Higgins. Keep an eye on him. If he's one-on-one, potentially on a fade route, that's what they scored on the first touchdown.
Lawrence had trouble with the snap. Scoops, throws, caught, out of bounds, incomplete. Ross did not get a foot down. It's 4th down.
It was very close. Does that right foot get down? Ooh, you see him secure the catch. That right foot does appear like it landed in bounds. Boom.
Touchdown.
Right foot down there. Catch secured. Does the ball move at all? It does look as though it was secured prior to that right foot being down. They should review this. And it's likely going to result in a Clemson touchdown.
Ruling on the previous play of an incomplete pass is under further review.
Given that Lawrence had a little trouble with that snap, able to throw a perfect pass to Justin Ross. Should be the 3rd touchdown of the first half for Trevor Lawrence.
Just an incredible job by Ross, knowing where he's at on the field and dropping that right foot down immediately, knowing where he's at, knowing how much room he has. And as soon as he secures that catch right there, that right toe goes down.
Yeah, does he have it there for sure, right? That's what they got to look at. Does he definitely have possession there when that right foot is down? I'm with you. I think he does.
Possession down. It looks like right there, as you can see, that right toe, it does appear.
That would be the 60th touchdown pass of Trevor Lawrence's young career.
Tell you, Greg, Justin Ross's sideline awareness and body control in tight quarters is about as good as you're going to find in college football.
And that was amazing right there.
Yeah.
After further review, the receiver's right foot came down inbounds in the end zone, and he maintained possession of the ball. It's a catch, and the result of the play is a touchdown.
I mean, obviously the catch was great, but how about, first of all, Lawrence able to just get a hold of that football there and make the throw. His touch throws are just phenomenal.
You see, he surveys, he finds and identifies the one-on-one after a horrible snap. He gathers himself, ton of poise, no problem. Gather the snap, get your feet back underneath you, get in rhythm and throw it accurately. He did so beautifully there for his third touchdown pass.
I mean, how many guys would panic when the ball's on the ground like that? But he doesn't. He just picks it up and throws it perfectly. He was 8 of 8 on that drive. Welcome back to ESPN College Football. Clemson and South Carolina, part of the Jiffy Lube rivalry series. 21-3 Tigers. And later today on ABC, the Big Ten West champ will be crowned. Wisconsin and Minnesota from the Twin Cities. Winner will take on Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. This is earlier this week, clearing the field and getting it ready to go for one of the great rivalries in college football. What do you guys like in that game?
I like Wisconsin. Really like. I think they've kind of been forgotten about.
I'm with you, Greg.
Still creates so many problems for the quarterback.
Touchback. Let's check in with Matt.
All right, guys, coming up on the Lexus halftime report, a back-and-forth game in the game, 21-13 right now, Ohio State. Plus, we'll travel around the country with some of the best rivalries being played today. And we'll get you set for that Big Ten West showdown. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway joining me coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
All right, Matt. Rivalry game here, 117th meeting. They've played every year since 1909. 3 minutes to go, 2 timeouts left for South Carolina, and Ryan Helinski in the game, a quarterback from the 25-yard line. And some movement on the left side of the line. Dylan Wanham, who's playing left tackle. He has been playing right tackle. Would move to left tackle today. Looked like he came out of his stance early.
Full start. Number 13, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Actually get the receiver for that. Ryan Helinski, true freshman, went to Orange Lutheran High School in Southern California. Started every game since the opener when Jake Bentley went down with a season-ending injury. Brothers Kelly and Tyler, both college quarterbacks, of course. The Tyler Helinski story well known. Tyler died via suicide January 2018 as Ryan Helinski is sacked here on second down. The family has moved here to Columbia to be with their youngest son Ryan. The parents Mark and Kim have started a foundation, Helinski's Hope, which helps improve mental health awareness for college athletes. They were at senior day at Washington State last week, which would have been Tyler's last home game in Pullman.
Just a heartbreaking story, but the way Ryan's paid tribute to his late brother is really touching.
Second down and 23. They run Feaster, and he's out to the 17-yard line. Well, you talked about how Ryan has honored Tyler. He's done it in so many ways. He has a tattoo of a lighthouse on his arm, which he says tells him where he's been and also where he's going. It's such a tough year for the entire Helinski family. A timeout taken by Clemson here with 3rd down and 18. Here's pregame, a cock walk. Ryan seeing his parents and his brother.
It's been special too, just the way the community here in Columbia has embraced the Helinski family, the support and the tributes that they do after halftime, raising threes to the air. Even the visiting teams have started to participate in that as well. When South Carolina goes on the road, it's a horrendous story, a heartbreaking story.
I don't know if you ever recover from that, Greg. I mean, the loss of a child is just
it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so heartbreaking, but The way they've handled it and the way that they've been able to bring awareness to suicide prevention is so admirable, making what is a horrendous situation, trying to make some good of it.
Clemson rushes 4. They're setting up the screen here to Dowdle. And he's at the 20-yard line, cuts it back, and brought down about 8 yards shy of the first down. So South Carolina will be forced to punt. See if Clemson uses its final timeout here or saves it for offense. It looks like the Tigers are going to save it.
They're going to end up with tremendous field position here too if they can get a return as well.
Clearly, Clemson doesn't need a ton of time to score.
Yeah,
they
right.
Knowing that a field goal might be possible, and that shift between the sideline and the field goal unit, getting the offense off the field goal unit on, it's really, really valuable to have that extra timeout for your offense. So the extra time is not nearly as important as maintaining that one timeout remaining.
South Carolina takes the play clock down to 1. Charlton's punt, not good. And goes out of bounds around the 32-yard line. Now tonight on ESPN at 7 Eastern, LSU dropped from number 1 to number 2. They take on Texas A&M. There's Mike the Tiger. He's given food design and that game's opponent's nickname each week. Last week we were down there for the blowout win over Arkansas. Mike looked like he was enjoying the Razorback, and I think he's getting the best of the Aggie here.
That's a pretty big logo too, so I would imagine that Mike the Tiger welcomes the Aggies to Baton Rouge, knowing that since the size of the logo is a little bigger, it's a little bit more meat for him. Am I crazy there?
No, I think you're right.
Do you think there's some reasonable take?
Yeah.
Not enough meat on a collie.
So minute 17 to go. Clemson with a timeout. Lawrence's pass is wide of the target, incomplete. So if LSU were to lose that game tonight to A&M, as there's a penalty marker down, if they lose that game but beat Georgia next week.
Number 79, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's a no-brainer, right? LSU's in, even if they lose today and win next week, right?
Yes, still in. Same can be said for Ohio State. If Ohio State loses this week to Michigan, it sounds like they're playing a dogfight there in Ann Arbor. I still think with a win next week over either Wisconsin or Minnesota would be enough to solidify their place in the top 4.
So 1st and 20 after the hold. Pass is caught at the 30-yard line by Overton out to the 31. What about Clemson if Clemson were to lose next week to Virginia or lose today? Or they have to go undefeated to get in?
I think they do. I mean, they haven't had the strength of schedule. It's not their fault. They're an excellent team. They haven't had the strength of schedule that they'll be compared against.
Lawrence and hits Overton for a first down at midfield. And the clock will stop here as they reset the chains. It's a gain of 20 on the play.
Yeah, these Clemson receivers, Greg. Overton knows he's going to get hit. What a great play over the middle. Give him a chance.
They run the clock after they get the stick set. 32 seconds to go. And the pass is caught. And they run the clock there as Ross forward progress was stopped as Clemson used that timeout here. They will. 23 seconds remaining in the first half. So you're talking about Clemson and the strength of schedule and that it's not their fault. But it's all about the best 4 teams, right? So I mean, if you've watched Clemson,
they're in my top 4 regardless.
So they are even if they were to lose next week.
I think that when they measure though the strength of schedule that maybe a 1-loss Oklahoma has, that a 1-loss Utah has, I think could be somewhat comparable. But if you really look based on the eye test, the game control, the other metrics that you look at when determining who the 4 best are, I don't know anybody that can make an argument against Clemson. It's just the strength of record hasn't been up to par compared to what we're usually used to, given the fact that the ACC is down relative to some of the other leagues in the Power 5.
You look at the first 4 games, they were rolling, and then against North Carolina, they survive on a failed 2-point conversion attempt at the end of the game by North Carolina. But the last 6 games, average margin of victory is 43 points. It's an ACC record that they've scored 30 or more in 6 straight games. So 25 seconds to go. Clemson out of timeouts, trying to get more points here at the end of the half, already leading by 18. Lawrence moving to his left, in trouble, but able to elude a sack. Trying to get out of bounds here. And he does, as he got knocked out of play by Mukwamu. The clock is at 14 right now. Gain of 9, though, for Lawrence.
Yeah, I don't know how he got out of this. As you see the pocket start to collapse around him, he has to work his way through it. A couple missed tackles. You see some of that mobility that we've talked about with Trevor Lawrence. And a smart job, too, getting to the sideline and then kind of absorbing that hit and falling forward. Maybe you get a free 15 because they think it's a late hit. So that was a really nice job. Nice aware job by Trevor Lawrence.
They get no timeouts left here. Lawrence throwing it in the field of play to Ross. So they got to get up there and spike it quick because it wasn't a first down. They're not set yet. 2 seconds to go, and Lawrence spikes it, and you're looking at about a 47-yard try for B.T. Potter, who's missed 6 field goals this year, but the last 3 games he's only had 1 attempt.
Fresh legs.
51-yarder here for Potter.
That was just an excellent job.
Or excuse me, 51-yard on the season is his long. This is a 46-yarder.
Excellent job in 2-minute operations there, getting the clock. That was a sign of an extremely well-coached football team.
Well, Muschamp going to burn a timeout here. So 46-yard attempt coming here. Don't forget Monday Night Football. Another good one this week with Minnesota tied right now with Green Bay for the top spot in the NFC North, taking on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, who've won 4 in a row. They're only a game behind San Francisco, and the Seahawks now have Jadeveon Clowney on their team, and everybody remembers that, the 2013 Outback Bowl hit.
That's the first time I've seen that, actually. I've never seen that before.
Stop. Against Vincent Smith. Our truck is bragging right now about how great the replay sequence was because they did that game. So, of course, they're bragging on the truck right now. But, man, it's been great to see Clowney and how well he has played with the Seahawks after some up and down play in Houston. So Will Sweeney, Dabo's son, is the holder, and Potter on for a 46-yard field goal attempt with 2 seconds to go. And it's a beautiful kick by Potter. 24-3. Clemson, as Lawrence finishes the half, completing his last 12 passes. And he had 3 touchdowns in that first half. 16 touchdowns, no picks in his last 4.5 games. Let's check in with Tom down in the field.
Well, Coach, you were able to preserve that timeout for that last offensive drive. Assess the execution of that 2-minute drill.
That was tremendous, you know. Wish we could have gotten out of bounds on the one, but hey, it is what it is. But great, that's, you know, big time 2-minute execution to get points. That's all we were trying to do. Good job. We thought we had enough time to get a little quick play and get the clock. You know, so really good first half. Defensively, we got a little soft on the run on that one drive. They got the field goal, and then obviously our opening drive coming away with nothing. That was pretty disappointing. But hey, tough, a lot of emotions. 24-3. We're in a good spot. We just got to come out and play really clean and crisp. Too many penalties in the kicking game. Got to clean that up the second half.
All right, thanks, Steph. Okay.
24-3 Clemson at halftime. Sending now to the studio Matt Berry, Jesse Palmer, and Joey Galloway.
Guys, thank you. Welcome into the Lexus half.
Welcome back to the Jiffy Lube Rivalry Series.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Xfinity. From Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, you're watching the SEC on ESPN. The Clemson Tigers ranked 3rd in the country, trying to inch closer to the college football playoff. They've got the ACC title game next week against Virginia, and right now lead South Carolina 24-3. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville on the field. And Greg, it's hard to discern at this point who's playing better. Clemson's offense, which is on pace for 600 yards and 50 points, or Clemson's defense, which has held South Carolina under 100 yards.
They've both been so impressive. You look at Trevor Lawrence, the way he finished that first half, 12 in a row completions, really remarkable, especially on some of the throws that were down the field, and then defensively forcing South Carolina to earn every single yard. South Carolina really only had 1 drive. And other than that 1 drive, they accounted for just over 20 yards of offense if you exclude that 1.
South Carolina will get the ball to start the second half in this rivalry game. It's the final game of the year for the Gamecocks at 4-7. They do not qualify for the postseason. It'll be a touchback that'll come out to the 25. A tradition that has been started here by Ryan Hilinski, the Hilinski family, and the Gamecock family. And now even teams, when South Carolina's on the road, will do this. And when visiting teams come here, they'll hold up 3. And it's not for the third quarter. It is for the late Tyler Hilinski. That is the number that Tyler wore at Washington State. It's the number that Ryan wears now. They have a moment of silence here for the home games, and even the Clemson players doing it as well to honor Tyler. Pretty neat, man, when everybody comes together like that. As Dowdle picks up a couple. The Hilinski family traveled to Pullman for senior night. Mom Kim and Dad Mark on hand for what would have been Tyler's final home game. There's Washington State head coach Mike Leach embracing Kim Hilinski. Tyler took his own life in January 2018. And Hilinski's hope started by the parents, a foundation to improve mental health awareness for college athletes. And Ryan, the true freshman, his parents moved here to Columbia to be with him. Throws it downfield and incomplete, trying to hit Shi Smith. They'll bring up 3rd down and 7. How about Isaiah Simmons? Their best pass rusher is in coverage on a wide receiver downfield.
And covered it beautifully, too. Was beat initially, but did a good job of, once he caught up to Shi Smith, turning his head around, trying to locate the football.
Greg, name one other time we've seen that all year long, ever.
And he's a linebacker, defensive end, safety hybrid. He can really play all 3. And for him to be able to cover a slot receiver downfield that effectively,
that's unreal.
Just shows his versatility as a defender.
Finalist for every major defensive award. 3rd down and 7. Hilinski over the middle, knocked away from Markway, incomplete. Kayvon Wallace broke up the pass. And a 3-and-out by South Carolina to start the second half. Let's take a look here if Wallace arrived before the ball did.
See Markway there over the middle. Ball was thrown in a pretty good spot, but you saw that left hand by Kayvon Wallace. Look at the shoulders turn. I think that should have been a pass interference.
There's the punt by Joseph Charlton. And fair caught at the 31-yard line.
Trevor Lawrence didn't have his best stuff early on, but man, he has improved as the game's gone along. Look at the magician there in the backfield, breaking a couple tackles, creating positive yardage, anticipating the dig in a very tight window around a defender. And then I love this throw. Moving in the pocket, buying a little extra time after the bad snap, throwing it in the perfect spot, and a great job too by his receiver, dropping that right foot in bounds. Trevor Lawrence finished with 12 consecutive completions, the longest of his career. Longest streak of his career with that many continuous great plays. So many incredible throws in that first half.
And he'll run it here. Scoots out of bounds after a short gain. Here's Tom.
The guys talking to Will Muschamp coming out of the locker room and really about Trevor Lawrence. They need to force a turnover. They need to sift the momentum over to their sideline. Really concerned about his own quarterback position right now. Ryan Hilinski is not at full health. They will continue to shuffle quarterbacks in and out to try to help their run game, force Clemson to have to defend more. But it's really about getting this Clemson offense off the field.
Which nobody, Tom, has been able to do the last 6 games. Clemson has won each of those games by 30 or more points. Lawrence from the pocket dumps it off to Etienne, and a good open field tackle by Ernest Jones. You know, going back to Trevor Lawrence, Greg, you made the point at the top of the telecast that if he plays in September the way he played in November, he might be the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, which is what everybody thought coming in. And I think there's nobody that's played better at that position this month than him.
He's been exceptionally good. Just came out of the gates a little bit shaky early on.
He'll throw it here on first down. Hits Ross out to midfield. And you made the point about that highlight, that touchdown pass he threw to Ross. It wasn't just a bad snap. It was a fumble. The ball's on the ground. He's got to scoop it up and still throw a perfect fade to the corner.
And that's the one thing about his game that's so remarkable is the poise. I mean, under pressure, no problem. Can move in the pocket with ease and deliver strikes even off balance.
He'll throw it here on second and short, looking downfield. And pitch and catch to Ross with Nukwamu trying to cover him. Just makes every throw look simple. Gain of 15.
And his offensive line did a great job here, too. I mean, only rushing 3, so you should have a ton of time. Trevor recognizes that, buys a little extra time, and improves the angle to throw that comeback route off scramble. Always under control. He makes it look easy. I mean, that's really what it is. He makes it look easy, and when he's in rhythm, he's almost impossible to defend.
Greg, it's almost like he's in slow motion.
And everyone else is flying around.
And Amari Rogers going to throw it back to Lawrence. Lawrence was covered, and so Rogers throws it away. They ran a trick play to start the game, a flea flicker that Lawrence's pass was underthrown and incomplete.
Dabo's telling him, run the ball, Amari, run the ball.
I actually kind of like the throwaway. I mean, how often do you see? I mean, we'd credit the quarterback for throwing away. Why don't we credit Amari Rogers?
You know what, Greg?
Hey, don't make a bad play worse.
What's
lose
so
it.
funny about that, too, is you always tell the guy if it's not there, throw it away, and they never throw it away.
Right.
And he did.
2nd and 10, Lawrence to the air. Again in trouble. Gets away from pressure and dumps it off to J.C. Chalk. This is a school record for consecutive completions in a single game, 16 in a row. And again there, he felt the pressure. It's so hard to get him down. He's 6'6", 225. Great awareness there in the pocket, too, of defenders at his feet.
That's the thing that you don't realize as much, though, is just how strong he is. I mean, he's so strong. He doesn't look real built. He doesn't look like a Tim Tebow, and he's so strong and grounded with his feet are in the turf.
Big 3rd down here for South Carolina's defense. The pitch by Lawrence, and Etienne with a burst of speed gets the 1st down inside the 15-yard line. Gain of 18 on 3rd down and 6.
And you see this defender off the right side absolutely pummel Trevor Lawrence and drive him to the ground. A little bit of an awkward fall there, and Etienne does the rest. You see Trevor kind of land awkwardly there as he went to the ground.
Big hit by Kingsley and Agbury.
I like getting back up immediately, though. Hey, unfazed by it. Come back at me.
Off play action. Lawrence lobs it. Incomplete. Flags are all over the field, though. It was intended for Higgins. Mukwamu in coverage. J.C. Horn was in coverage, too. Looked like away from where the ball was thrown.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Holding, number 1, that penalty's declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 52. Half the distance to the goal, and an automatic. 1st down.
So Enagbury, the guy that took down Trevor Lawrence on the previous play, gets called here for hitting Lawrence late.
You see the ball is clearly down. Ooh, yeah. It's a good job by the official. Nagbury had plenty of time to put on the brakes, and he didn't. It's a good job by the referee recognizing it.
So 1st and goal for Clemson on the 7-yard line. Lawrence off play action, drops it to Chalk, and they're going to lose 4 or 5 yards on that. Read well by Jamie Robinson.
They don't like that play. I mean, you just don't have enough room. You're on the right hash. There's very little room between you and the sideline. You try to roll your quarterback in that direction and hit Chalk in the flat. I'd rather run that play to the field. So if I'm on the right hash, knowing I have a right-handed quarterback, I'm saving that one for a time when I'm on the left hash with the right-handed quarterback moving to the right when I have plenty of room.
On 2nd and goal, Lawrence to throw again. Hitches, fires, incomplete. Unable to make the catch was Frank Ladson. Penalty marker thrown down at the 3-yard line. Late flag.
This was a really late flag, too, from the field judge.
Pass interference, number 24, defense. By rule, the ball replaced at the 2-yard line and an automatic. 1st down.
You see McQuamu here working on the edge. There is some contact.
You think?
This right arm. And
look at that.
Clearly just trying to figure out what took the field judge so long to pull the flag. And you got to be physical with these wide receivers, but a couple times now McQuamu has held on a little too tight as those guys have tried to break free.
What was he arguing about?
You have nothing to lose. Might as well argue your point.
I guess. First down and goal. Etienne walking in. Touchdown, Clemson. Travis Etienne, his 15th rushing touchdown this season.
And you look at the flow working all the way to the left. Defenders moving a little bit to the left. Chalk does a good job getting a piece of Brunson. But Etienne just too much speed to the corner as he punches it in for a touchdown.
And Potter makes it 31-3 Clemson early in the third.
With the speed of Xfinity X5, you can stream live games from any corner of the house.
And you can check out our alternate angle Xfinity Skycam coverage of today's game streaming live on the ESPN app. Packed house here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, but a South Carolina team that was 3-3 at one point, in danger of losing its 5th out of the last 6 to close the season 4-8. Can be a touchback. It'll come out to the 25 for South Carolina. So Travis Etienne scoring a touchdown in the last drive gives him 52 for his career. That ties the ACC record held by former Pitt Panther James Conner. 56 total touchdowns, 52 rushing touchdowns.
Dabo would say, imagine how many he'd have if I played him in the 4th quarter. It's really, statistically speaking, Etienne has been outstanding this year. And I know he gets somewhat overshadowed by his supporting cast, but he should be on everyone's list when thinking about filling out an All-American team.
He's only got 4 attempts in the 4th quarter as Feaster is wrapped up after a 1-yard gain by Simmons and Spector. Let's check in with Tom on the field.
You know, guys, on that last defensive series for South Carolina, I walked around to the back end line because I wanted to get a close look at their eyes. And this is a dejected defense. When that score happened for Clemson, you could see the wind taken out of their sail. And it was, hey, listen, this is a South Carolina team that has tackled well today. They've given good effort. But they're 7 of 9 in terms of third down getting off the field. They can't get off the field. The penalties have mounted. But it's the body language in the eyes of the faces in those face masks that you can just see that was it. When that score happened, that was it.
Well, and so based on, you know, some of the things you just said, Tom, and what we're seeing in the scoreboard, is this going to be enough to save Will Muschamp's job? The athletic director, Ray Tanner, has come out and said that he will be the coach next year, and I hope for a long time, as a Feaster is brought down for a loss, going to bring up 4th down. Here's the quote from Tanner on WNKT FM earlier this week. I believe in him. He's our coach now, will be next year, and I hope for a long, long time. Will that change after today? Will Tanner's status change after today? It seems like there's a lot up in the air. I mean, Muschamp's going to fall to 26 and 25. He was 28 and 21 at Florida and was let go after 4 years. But they've got beautiful new facilities. And they played a ridiculously tough schedule this year as Kendrick steps out of bounds on the 24. We'll talk more about Muschamp and his future with South Carolina. We come back 31-3 Tigers.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Pizza Hut, official pizza of college football. Order now at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Gorgeous new facilities here in Columbia, South Carolina. Will Muschamp in his 4th year as the head coach. 26 and 24 record. They had that 9-win season a couple years ago and the win against Georgia this year. Otherwise, they finished this year 3-9. What do you think happens here with South Carolina and Muschamp?
Right, they should keep him, because when you look at what they had from a facility standpoint, they were operating with one hand behind their back these last couple years.
Etienne trying to get the perimeter, and he does. Gain of 8.
I think the other thing too, guys, is when you're a developmental program like this program is, where you're going to bring guys in, they're going to be good players, but hopefully you don't have to play with a lot of them too early, and you have the rash of injuries that they've had at some key spots throughout the course of the season. It's tough to survive that, and I agree with the facility, with the investment here. Give Will Muschamp and his staff an opportunity to utilize that thing to enhance the recruiting efforts and get even better players in here.
Well, the other thing is if you make a move, there's no guarantee you're going to get a better coach.
Right.
Because when they hired Muschamp last time, there were some other names that turned it down because they didn't think they could win here.
I think that if you give him an entire calendar with that facility, he's already a tenacious recruiter. I think the talent level will improve significantly in time if they just stay with it. If you press the reset button, then you can potentially kind of set the program back a couple years. Look, the SEC East is ever improving, and it's gotten a whole lot better over the last couple seasons. Still not quite where the West is, and there's still room for growth with this program, but I'm optimistic knowing that they finally have the facility and the components necessary to compete on the recruiting trail.
Well, Dabo, you think about Dabo Swinney, right? That third year, they were 6-7, and they stuck with Dabo, and boys, it paid off. He's one of the best coaches in college football. Will Muschamp obviously is well respected as a coach for what he's done in several stops. And to your point, if you're patient, it may pay off in recruiting eventually, because you get to allow Muschamp now to use those facilities, which he hasn't had at his disposal for the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's why I think you just have to give it a little bit more time. I know South Carolina fans are frustrated, understandably so, but a little bit more time and this thing might turn around.
Lawrence in trouble, and he's sacked back at the 30-yard line by Enagberry.
You know what, fellas, too, with that is I think he's going to have to, as every head coach does, evaluate his staff, particularly on the offensive side of the football. Is this what we want to be? Can we better? Can we be better? Can we get more out of what our personnel is? We got a young quarterback to build around. Staff evaluation is going to be key over the next 48 hours for Will Muschamp.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, too. Just identify, all right, are we resourcing ourselves enough at the coaching spots to get the most out of these guys?
And a dump pass to Powell, and knocked it out of bounds at 39. I mean, just think at the start of the year you lose your quarterback, Jake Bell, and you got to throw a true freshman in there. It changes your whole year
completely. And they couldn't get out of their own way at times too. I mean, there have been countless examples in which they would make a mistake, or they'd have a key penalty, or they'd do something dumb that led to an unfortunate outcome. The North Carolina game's a great example of that. Kind of gift wrapped it and handed it to North Carolina in week 1. That kind of set the tone for the season and what's been a very disappointing campaign for the Gamecocks.
Here's Lawrence on 3rd down and 11, trying to keep the drive going. Moves out of the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, and his pass is incomplete. Tried to hit Luke Price, so a rare punt coming for the Tigers.
That's one of those plays for Trevor Lawrence, guys, that was a little reminiscent of some of the silly plays he had made in the first month, plays that he has stayed away from over the last 6-7 weeks.
And knowing how well the defense is playing too, you have to wonder how much longer are we going to see Trevor Lawrence in the ball game. Up 28, 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. I don't think you want to expose him to any more unnecessary hits here as the game goes along, knowing how valuable he is to your success this season.
And that incompletion ended a streak of 18 consecutive completions by Trevor Lawrence. Good punt. Clemson will down it at the 9-yard line. 51-yard boot. Today's hardest working player, brought to you by Duluth Trading Company, is Clemson's Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, he's been off the charts good. Recognizing Rico Dowdle pulling that football and then stuffing Rico a little bit later at the line of scrimmage. How about the coverage downfield on Shi Smith, turning his eyes around in time to create the pass breakup and the blitz off the left-hand side where he rallies to Helinski and drops him for the sack. He's been all over the place today, showcasing that versatility. He can cover, he can run, he can meet you in the hole, and he can pressure you. It's just so fun to watch Isaiah Simmons work, and man, he has been working hard today.
A sack, 2 tackles for a loss as South Carolina takes over. Helinski from the goal line dumps it off to Shi Smith, turning it upfield and stepping out of bounds past the 15-yard line. Well, this Clemson defense is number 2 in the country in points allowed. They give up only 10.7 a game. They're number 2 in total defense, and them and Ohio State are the only teams through the first 11 games of a season to hold an opponent under 300 yards every week since '96. So it hasn't happened in 23 years, and Ohio State and Clemson have both done it this year. Here's Matt Berry in the studio.
Some separation, guys, a little bit. Second half, Ohio State, Michigan. Buckeyes march right down the field. Justin Fields to K.J. Hill. Now 35-16, start of the third.
And Ohio State, a little bit of a scare against Penn State, and doesn't seem to matter who the coach is at Ohio State. They have Michigan's number. Helinski's pass is caught at the 23-yard line by Dawkins. Short game there.
How about Ryan Day is undefeated as a head coach? I mean, dating back to his 3 games last year when he was serving as the interim head coach there when Urban Meyer was suspended. Now clearly 11-0, looking 12-0 right in the face.
Nowhere to go but down, boys. He's doomed.
Markway at the 27-yard line. I mean, you take over for one of the best coaches in college football, and you got a new quarterback. Just roll along, and they'll play the winner of Wisconsin-Minnesota in the Big Ten championship game next week. Wisconsin-Minnesota is on ABC at 3:30 Eastern time. Helinski steps up. Simmons got a hit, but Helinski completed the pass to Dowdle for a first down at the 30-yard line.
Well, this is a nice job by Helinski. I mean, Simmons is breathing fire, running right towards him, about to hit him really, really hard, and clearly Helinski's not at 100% coming into the day. This is a good job keeping your eyes downfield. Hey, man, got to make a play, anything. Just get it to your wide receiver as best you possibly can and throw it away from the defender. That was a good job keeping his eyes downfield and positioning the football in a place where the defender couldn't get it. That was a nice job by the freshman.
Turned 19 years old during the season. We've seen Jay Urich get some snaps at quarterback today. Saw Helinski hobbling after that hit. Hands it off. Feaster is free past the 45 and out near midfield. The former Clemson Tiger, Tavian Feaster, with a gain of 19.
And look at the defense. They're going to adjust and slide inside, which is going to allow for a nice crease for Feaster. You see that movement.
Feaster gets it again, and in the backfield, Jake Venables, son of defensive coordinator Brent Venables, makes the tackle. No gain.
A lot of reserves getting some play now, guys, particularly on the defensive side. This is a team in Clemson that's played more freshmen than any other team in America because they can.
Right. Keep blowing everybody out. You get to get guys in the game that wouldn't normally play tight situations or in the first half. But Venables does get some work regularly. He is the backup middle linebacker. It's not like he's fourth string. Here's Helinski from the pocket, throws in traffic and incomplete. Again, you got Isaiah Simmons. Look how far downfield number 11 is right there. He was the last line of defense on that play.
He was playing the free safety there, and you mentioned the reserves that are getting some work up front. The starting secondary is still in there, and that was a nice throw by Helinski in traffic, anticipating the in-breaking route. Just went through the receiver's hands. He's battling, man. I'm telling you what, man, Ryan Helinski, he's going to grow and learn from this season, but I think he has a very bright future.
He'll throw it here. Everybody covered. Tries to dump it off to Feaster, and the ball hit the ground incomplete.
You remember a couple years back, too, when Jake Bentley was a true freshman, and he had his ups and downs, including what was a very one-sided performance against Clemson. His first opportunity to play Clemson, it went sideways and went sideways quickly. But Bentley continued to battle and get better and make improvements, and came into the season expecting to have a huge year. Got to expect the same type of progress from Helinski as he navigates throughout the course of his career.
Kendrick is deep and has it on the 16-yard line. 2.5 remaining in the third. All Clemson. Tomorrow night it's NFL primetime on ESPN Plus at 7:30 with TJ and Boomer. Nobody takes you through all the highlights and breaks down every game like they do. The show's available to stream each week, so you can watch anytime you want. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on any device you choose. Go to ESPN Plus, download the app, or go to ESPNplus.com. Trevor Lawrence, who In a couple years, will be featured a lot on NFL primetime. One more year to go at least. True sophomore. Hands it off here to Lynn J. Dixon. And he's brought down after a gain of about 3 or 4. Make sure they're going to mark him down after just a 2-yard run. Dixon, a sophomore from Butler, Georgia. Next to Lawrence on 2nd down and 8. Inside 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Lawrence going to throw it. Now takes off and tucks. You see a little acceleration at the end. Gets the 1st down. Here's Matt.
All right, guys, this is not the offense that Tim Couch built. This is Lynn Bowden Jr. 207 rushing yards on the day. 46 of them here. Kentucky up on Louisville, 31-13.
And what a story that's been. I mean, Lynn Bowden thrust into the lineup because they don't have anybody else at quarterback. The receiver playing quarterback, and he's been spectacular.
Receiver may have run the wrong route there. Lawrence was trying to set up a wide receiver screen to T.J. Chase. Has to throw it away.
Think about that too, Greg. If you're Mark Stoops and that staff and you're going through and you're Eddie Graham, the offensive coordinator, and every single week you're setting up a game plan without a quarterback.
Right. Knowing that you are completely one-dimensional offensively. Yeah. He has over 1,000 yards, almost 1,100 yards rushing, and 300 yards passing this season.
It's unbelievable.
And a vast majority of those throws were at or behind the line of scrimmage. It's just amazing what Mark Stoops has done there in Lexington in the last couple of years.
Lawrence's pass is batted down by T.J. Brunson. Defense still fighting for South Carolina.
Yeah, they're playing hard. You see Brunson coming off the edge. Not really sure what the situation was. I think it was a quarterback or a running back draw, or you can throw a one-on-one RPO, because you look at the way Lynn J. Dixon stood back there. Normally he'd be running the underline of scrimmage. He didn't. To block that edge defender, he didn't. So you got to think he was thinking something else. Maybe not on the same page with the quarterback.
So 3rd and 10 now for Trevor Lawrence from his 27-yard line. Lawrence steps up, takes off again, and picks up another 1st down. Boy, he does such a good job of avoiding hits. And again, there were defenders at his feet, and he runs for 18 yards.
And Trevor Lawrence now is their leading rusher. 6 carries for 51 yards. I just love how nimble he is in the backfield, making guys miss. I mean, you see capable defenders that are well positioned that go flying right by him because he's just got enough nuance to be able to move and lean, and enough flexibility to avoid tacklers. And of course, in the open field, he's got a ton of speed.
Final minute here of the 3rd quarter. And they run another trick play, a reverse to Rodgers with Lawrence out there, quote unquote, blocking. And he's just trying to get out of the way as Rodgers is inside the 35-yard line, a 22-yard run.
Yeah, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm standing about 8 yards out of bounds. I'm saying, look, Mari, you got this, man, because I am not going to subject myself to a potential hit.
Don't be a hero,
by a
kid.
Frustrated Gamecock defender.
Look at that.
He misses it. Half-hearted effort. All right.
Just kidding.
All right, just get out of the way. Just get out of the way.
Hey, don't stick your throwing hand in there and try to block the guy. Lawrence will throw it here. Drops it off as a flag flies. Dixon wrestled down by Robinson at the 30-yard line. See what the flag's about. Final play of the 3rd quarter. Jackson Carman, the left tackle, is injured for the Tigers.
Holding, number 79. Offense. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
And he gets
the
rolled
3rd quarter
up.
is not yet over. We will have one untimed down due to having an accepted penalty on the last play.
Carman got rolled up by his own left guard. And that's potentially a really, really big loss for this Clemson offense. So you watched this left side of the offensive line. You see the left guard, John Simpson. Watch as he kind of falls into the ankle area of Jackson Carman. Just hope Carman's okay. He's been such an anchor on the left side of that offensive line. and definitely their most consistent offensive lineman throughout the course of the season.
And again, one more play, an untimed down coming for Clemson. And 4 seniors on that offensive line, and Carmen, a sophomore, first-year starter at left tackle, got called for the hold before the injury. Tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN, on the ESPN app, Joe Burrow and number 2 LSU takes on Texas A&M in Death Valley. The last time these two teams played, game went 7 overtimes. It was 74-72 in College Station. See how things go tonight. Todd Blackledge, Sean McDonough, Holly Rowe on the call from Baton Rouge.
No, guys, if we examine, college football playoff teams and you look at Clemson, you say, okay, is there an area where maybe they're a bit vulnerable or maybe they're not as good as they'd like to be? I think it's in the offensive line. I think they're competent. I think they are a productive, steady unit, but that's maybe a position where they can't afford an injury.
Yeah, and especially to Carmen, who has the most talent of anybody up in the front. So that's a significant loss potentially if in fact he has to miss any time down the road. But against a Chase Young for Ohio State or against a dynamic defensive lineman, I think this offensive line could potentially have their hands full. But with the way Trevor Lawrence gets the ball out of his hands, it might not matter.
You got Jordan McFadden, a redshirt freshman, and now at left tackle. Lawrence's pass is almost intercepted by Mukwamu, and that's the end of the third quarter. Clemson takes a 31-3 lead to the fourth. The Tigers on their way to 12-0. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Welcome back to ESPN College Football. Clemson and South Carolina, part of the Jiffy Lube rivalry series. 31-3, Clemson leads South Carolina.
All right, guys, studio update from Ohio State, Michigan. Scary moment here for the Buckeyes as Justin Field plants his front leg. He's hit by Michigan defenders. His knee buckles. He is out of the game and in the medical tent.
Wow. Boy, that would be obviously a tremendous blow to the Buckeyes if it's a serious injury. You recall in the Ohio State-Michigan game 5 years ago, J.T. Barrett had an injury. ETN here inside the 30-yard line. But don't want to speculate, obviously, on Fields' injury, but Barrett's was season-ending. But they had Cardale Jones back then. Even though Jones didn't look good in the Michigan game, they beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game with Jones, went on to win the national title. But if it's a serious injury for Fields, there's not much behind him.
No, there's not. That's a huge, huge concern, is the depth at quarterback there for Ohio State. And when the departure that they had in the offseason with Tate Martell going to Miami.
And hopefully it's not serious, and Fields will be back, if not today, for the Big Ten title game against either Wisconsin or Minnesota, as Powell is dragged down at the 19-yard line. And Jackson Carman, by the way, is not back on the field for Clemson. Jordan McFadden is still in, redshirt freshman at left tackle.
Carman did walk off under his own power, though, so hopefully encouraging news for his availability down the road. You got to think another score here, though. It's got to be the end of the day for Trevor Lawrence.
Going to run ETN, and Kinlaw stands him up after a gain of 1. Today's Wendy's Weekend Watch. Coming up on ABC, Wisconsin and Minnesota. The winner goes to the Big Ten title game. Utah plays Colorado tonight. If Utah wins that game on ABC and then wins the Pac-12 championship, we'll see if the Utes, as a one-loss team, get into the college football playoff. LSU A&M tonight on ESPN.
I know Utah is not, as you look at Jackson Carman back watching his teammates on the offensive side.
I'm going to run Trevor Lawrence here on 2nd down and 9. Boy, takes on the hit, too, from eBay. And collides with a photographer and wants to make sure he's okay.
Lugs is over there, too. That was a pretty big hit.
Guys, what is Clemson doing right now?
Yeah, I don't know why you're running your quarterback at this point. I mean, nothing good can come of this. I'm just scarred after the Tua Tagovailoa injury.
Sure.
That was in the second quarter. This is the fourth quarter. You have a very convincing lead. Your defense has been dominant. I think you got to get Trevor Lawrence out of the game. If you are going to keep him in the game, hand it off.
The game's over. Why is he in the game?
The game's over. Hand it off. Don't expose him to unnecessary risk by dropping him back on slow developing plays and involving his legs in the run game.
And how about they run him again here? He gets inside the 5-yard line, but he lost the ball, it looked like, too. Let's see if they rule Lawrence down. They will, but I don't understand this.
Boy, are they playing with fire.
Let's make sure that he secured the ball here as he was getting tackled. Mukwamo trying to strip it. Really hard to tell there.
You see that right elbow go down before the ball is dislodged, it looked like. Give it to your running back. Don't expose Trevor Lawrence to unnecessary hits.
There's Etienne, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. 16th rushing touchdown for Travis Etienne this season, and the new ACC record, 53rd for his career. And Potter makes it 38-3 Clemson. Just want to mention in the Ohio State-Michigan game, Justin Fields is back in and just scored as the Buckeyes are rolling, so it's good to know that he's okay, at least for now. Clemson, meanwhile, leading 38-3, and a new ACC record holder for career rushing touchdowns, Travis Etienne, just passed James Conner.
It's amazing. I mean, James Conner was so good, man. It just kind of shows you what Etienne has been capable of, and he's not coming back. But if he did, imagine what that record might look like if he had 4 years on campus. I mean, he might score 100 touchdowns, knowing they still have the potential of 15 games this year and a few more to go.
With Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback. Etienne, a junior from Jennings, Louisiana. Touchback, it'll come out to the 25. Let's take a look at a blimp-worthy moment brought to you by Goodyear. This is the closest Clemson got to being beat. North Carolina going for 2 in Chapel Hill early in the season. They don't convert, and the Tigers at that time were #1 in the country. They win by 1. And since that time, the closest game that Clemson has played was against Florida State, and Clemson won 45-14. The last 6 games, their average margin of victory is 43 points per game. They've won 4 in a row by 45 or more points as Helinski's pass is off the mark, incomplete. So if they end up winning this game by 45 or more points, it will be the first time in college football history that a program has done that. Yet Dabo Swinney joked with us before the game, laughing, saying, I've got the easiest job in America because of you guys. You keep showing all the mistakes we're making. Matt Berry in the studio at the 30-yard line. Let's go to Matt.
All right, guys, you had mentioned Justin Fields back in the game. He had a big knee brace on. This was his first play back. Scrambles left, throws it back across his body. Garrett Wilson, touchdown. Buckeyes up 42-16.
Wow.
He's got magic legs.
Yeah. Mobility clearly not in question.
Who's the best team right now? Helinski's pass caught by Markway. Is it Ohio State? Is it LSU with the schedule they played, or is it the team we're watching right here?
I'm telling you, I think it's really, really close between Ohio State and Clemson. I think they're the 2 best teams.
Agreed.
If they were to tee it up right now, I think that they would both beat LSU, just given how dominant they are on the defensive side of the football as well. But I'll tell you what, man, the more I see of Clemson, the more I think they are going to peak at the right time. And their best football, even though they've been dominant the last few weeks, without question, their best football might still be in front of them.
I mean, it's so odd to see a team that's undefeated start a year where almost everybody says they're the best team and it's not close, to, at this point of the year, people wondering if they're in the top 2. As Helinski on 4th down throws incomplete. Clemson going to take over on downs. Mike Jones with a pass breakup. And Clemson's on its way to 12-0 with one more game to go against Virginia in the ACC title game.
ESPN College Football is presented by Xfinity. Get the ultimate in-home Wi-Fi experience with Xfinity XFi. And in part by Mazda. Feel alive.
Well, there's only been 2 programs to win 3 championships in 4 years. Nebraska 94, 95, and 97. Alabama 2009, 11, and 12. Clemson has an opportunity to join that group in Dabo Swinney's 12th year. It's going to be his 10th 10-win season with 2 national titles. 9 straight 10-win seasons. As Lynn J. Dixon gets the carry out to the 33. Chase Bryce, by the way, is in the game at quarterback, so Trevor Lawrence is done for the day. Bryce is a sophomore, thrown 73 passes this year. Led Clemson to a win against Syracuse a year ago when Lawrence was hurt.
Yeah, he was the hero. I mean, just one of the crazy outcomes of the season last year, that Syracuse game, and Chase Bryce delivering on that 4th down completion to keep the drive alive to eventually take the lead.
Dixon lost the ball but covers it up. Lawrence over the last 5 games, 16 touchdown passes, no interceptions.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. I mean, really, really good. And even today, I mean, those first 12 pass attempts, he was 6 of 12 and probably had 4 or 5 inaccurates in those first 12 pass attempts. But since that point forward, it's been full speed ahead. He has been off the charts good here in the final 3 quarters of this football game.
Going to be the 27th consecutive win for Clemson. Here's Dixon on the pitch, and he gets the first down. Out of bounds around the 21.
The good news for Clemson fans is that number 16 standing on the sideline with everybody that wears a single digit on offense.
Yeah. All right, all the starters.
Get T. Higgins, get Justin Ross, get those guys off the field.
Get them out.
Although you do have
the offensive line still in there,
some
for
of
the most part.
You've got a couple of backups in there, but
right side of the offensive line, Cervenka and Ankrum still in there.
Bryce to throw here. Goes to the end zone. Ooh. Into the camera well. Luke Price just bounced off that thing like it wasn't there.
Yeah, it's really tight in the back of this end zone. Photographer getting out of the way. Pretty quick by the photographer getting out of the way, but man, I'm glad he's okay. Good look at it. Boom. Like it's nothing.
Got to run Dixon. And he's in trouble in the backfield. And thrown down at the 28-yard line. Enag Bari and Jamie Robinson on the takedown. The last time Clemson did not score in a quarter was the 3rd quarter of the North Carolina game back on September 28th.
Pretty good run. I mean, to score in every quarter is ridiculous.
Got an injured South Carolina player. It's Jamie Robinson.
Yes, I did.
In the Wisconsin-Minnesota game. He just answered it. Potter missed it wide to the right. All right, time to answer the Aflac trivia question. So 111 straight years for Clemson, South Carolina. How about 112 in a row for Wisconsin and Minnesota?
If I didn't see the logo at midfield right there, I'd think they were in South Florida. Wouldn't you guys?
I will never forget that game.
It is a fun rivalry.
Awesome.
Paul Bunyan's axe at stake, and more important, the Western Division. And the champ will play Ohio State for the Big Ten title and maybe a spot in the college football playoff. But what happens if Wisconsin beats Minnesota today and beats Ohio State? Can the Badgers get in as the Big Ten champ with 2 losses? Minnesota, if it wins against Wisconsin and beats Ohio State, are the Gophers in? Walensky setting up a screen to Feaster. Guys, your thoughts on that?
I think if you look at it right now, Ohio State clearly held in high regard. They're ahead of LSU. So even if they were to lose next week, I think they'd still have an argument to get in the college football playoff, given what they did in the regular season. if Minnesota were to win today and then win next week against Ohio State, they're in. I know that it wasn't sexy in September, but the way they've played here in the month of November, really the first time that program's been challenged on a big platform on a weekly basis, they've responded remarkably well. Their only loss being to Iowa on the road. Good team. I think Minnesota, if they went out, they should absolutely grab one of those 4 spots.
Here's Feaster again out of the backfield. No gain. Let's go to Matt.
All right, guys, outcome not in question between Georgia and Georgia Tech. George Pickens' availability for next week's SEC championship game now is because of this fight with Trey Swilling. Pickens was ejected. He's going to at least miss the first half of the SEC championship as Georgia beaten Georgia Tech 38-7.
Wow. Meanwhile, there's been
doing.
That's so foolish. This hurts your team. There's been nothing here. I mean, nothing pregame, nothing in game.
Very gentlemanly here in the Palmetto State.
So go back and answer the question about Wisconsin. If Wisconsin were to beat Minnesota and beat Ohio State, which you just said held in high regard as the #1 team, right, according to the College Football Playoff Committee, if the Buckeyes are in with 1 loss, if Wisconsin is the Big Ten champ with 2 losses, did the Badgers get it?
No. Ohio State beat them earlier in the year.
Right.
So I think even in that scenario, Ohio State might still be ahead of Wisconsin, even though they won in the Big Ten championship game. So it would get really unique. And the one thing that's, I think, does a 12-1 LSU team get in? Does a 12-1 Ohio State team get in? That's the things that does a 12-1 Clemson team get in? Those are a lot of the questions that we're going to have here over the next couple of weeks that the committee's going to be tasked with.
We can talk a little bit more about Clemson's opponent next week, Virginia, as Sweeney is knocked down at the 25-yard line. Back in a moment. Tonight after SportsCenter from Los Angeles and after Arizona State at SportsCenter, Stan and Neil, they'll have the best college football rivalry week reactions. Heather Dinich stops by, talk about which teams look like they're going to make the college football playoff. NBA action as well. Here are our picks. So, Luke, I'm going to let you go first, all right? Tell me about what went into your picks here with LSU 3rd and Ohio State 1st, Clemson 2.
Yeah, I just kind of went with what I felt my eyes were telling me. I just think this Clemson team, if they're not the best team in college football off of production and effort, I don't care about their schedule right now. I'm trusting what I see in them. We talk about complete teams. I think Ohio State, without question, in all 3 phases, is in that conversation. That's why I have them at 1. And I think the other 2 there, whether it's LSU, whether it's Georgia, we can question LSU on defense. We can question Georgia on offense. But I think there is a clear line and a difference between Clemson and Ohio State.
I'll ask you a question, Dave. You have Utah ahead of Alabama. Mine's just like the committee's. Why do you have Utah ahead of Alabama?
Because they don't have Tua Tagovailoa, so they're not a top 5 team.
That's a good answer. You've been studying.
They don't?
Out there with Walton and Maui. I thought you mailed it in, but clearly you've been studying.
He's riding outriggers with Bill Walton.
Did that actually happen this week, by the way?
You being in Maui?
A dream of 6 games in 3 days there and coming all the way back here, but I just have a hard time putting Alabama. I mean, I have a hard time even keeping them in the top 6 right now because they don't have Tua Tagovailoa.
I think that's understandable.
And their defense hasn't been great.
They've had their moments of very average play on the defensive side. Now, if they go out and play really well today and beat Auburn with Oregon's tumble from 6 to 14, Auburn's 15. So if Utah, their big win is against Oregon, well, maybe Alabama's big win might be against Auburn. So I think Alabama has a chance, but they probably need a little help from some of the other teams in contention.
Bryce's pass incomplete. Here's the big question. We've been talking about all these scenarios. Are we even going to have these scenarios? Or is it going to play out where Ohio State, Clemson, and LSU win the 3 championships next week, and it's all about that 4th spot?
That's what I think is going to happen.
That's what I forecast too. The closest game next week will be between Georgia and LSU. And I think Georgia's offense is more capable than Auburn's offense is. And Auburn only scored 20 against LSU. Georgia might be able to score more, and their defense is every bit as good as Auburn's, who held LSU to 23 points. So I think Georgia can give LSU a run, but they need to play really well on offense.
There's Bryce on 3rd down and 8, and that pass is caught for a 1st down by TJ Chase. So then is it as simple as this? If the scenarios play out the way you guys are predicting, Is it Utah wins tonight on ABC against Colorado, beats Oregon next week, and the Utes are in no matter what?
Like I was saying earlier, though, I kind of got, after Trevor took a big hit, I got completely discombobulated. But Utah's really good, and they're not a blue blood. They didn't come in with a lot of pop and sizzle in the offseason, but if you watch that team, they're really talented along the defensive front. Their quarterback's playing excellent. So I think Utah, even though they're not a marquee big name, if they take care of business tonight, get to the Pac-12 championship, beat Oregon in the Pac-12 championship, I think they have a very convincing argument on their behalf to occupy that 4th spot.
And you got Oklahoma. What if it beats Baylor twice? You know, that game next week at noon on ABC.
Oklahoma's inconsistencies scare me.
There's Bryce pitching it to Chaz Malusi, tripped up by Robinson, who got hurt earlier, so good to see him back on the field.
Of all the teams in the discussion that we're having right now, whether it's Utah, whether it's Clemson, so on and so forth, Oklahoma, from a strength of schedule, is going to carry some weight, especially if they beat Baylor twice. But they might have the worst eye test of all the teams in contention right now.
Yeah, their highs have been really high, like the first half or the first 3 quarters against Iowa State, or the second half against Baylor, but the lows have also been really jaw-dropping at times with the way they've played on the defensive side.
Incomplete pass, 4th down. Clemson has Virginia next week.
And Oklahoma has a chance too tonight to strengthen their strength of record as well.
No doubt.
Oklahoma State still in the top 25, actually sitting at number 21. So Oklahoma's going to have an argument if they can take care of business the rest of the way. But I don't know if they're going to be able to play in the way they are on the defensive side.
Kingsley Enagbari shaken up for South Carolina. So here is the ACC championship game primer. Clemson has only lost 8 times to Virginia. They haven't played since 13. This will be the 5th straight title game appearance for Clemson. Tigers have won the last 4. And this will be the 7th different ACC Coastal team in 7 years in the ACC title game.
That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, you think when the ACC went to 14 and realigned their divisions, they thought it'd be Florida State and Clemson every year coming out of the Atlantic, and in the Coastal it'd be Miami or Virginia Tech. And sure enough, all 7 teams in the ACC Coastal have been to the ACC championship. And how about the job Bronco Mendenhall has done in getting that Cavalier program back to where they want to be, and a team that could very well make their way to the Orange Bowl come Selection Sunday.
Enagbari being helped off the field for South Carolina with 2:16 to go. Clemson up 38-3. And the Tigers are going to punt it. They got a lot of their starters, their special teams starters on the field, which include some of their best players like Isaiah Simmons. Steven Sawicki punted here, and penalty marker down.
False start. Number 1, offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Just not sure why you'd have all these starters on the field for this. It's a punt. You're up 38-3 with 2 minutes to go.
Knowing you're on the road, I don't know what the travel roster allotment is.
Maybe, yeah.
You might not have enough guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially knowing the positions that those guys might occupy.
And South Carolina looked like it was offside there. Decent enough punt, though. You would imagine Clemson will just decline it. South Carolina will have the ball on the 9-yard line. Well, this season looked promising despite the injuries early on when South Carolina beat Georgia.
Number 28, defense. Penalties decline. 1st down.
South Carolina was 3-3, had Florida coming here, played well in that game but lost, and this will be 5 of 6 losses to end the year. It didn't help that Brian Edwards, maybe their best player on offense, knee surgery last week. Dowdle's been in and out of the lineup. It's the last game that Dowdle will play as a member of the Gamecocks.
You feel for those guys. I mean, it's been kind of an up and down tenure. Javon Kinlaw, all 3 of those guys will have plenty of opportunities to play a long time at the next level, especially Kinlaw, who I think has a chance to be a top 15 pick.
It's senior day for those guys. Will it be Will Muschamp's last game as a head coach at South Carolina? We talked about this earlier. Has the vote of confidence from athletic director Ray Tanner. But you never know how things will turn out after a game like this where you lose 38-3 to your rival. But as we talked about earlier, Will's a good coach, and maybe with the new facilities, they'll let Muschamp continue to coach this football team. A 9-win season 2 years ago, but 26-25 record after today's loss.
I think he's a good coach. I mean, remember a couple years ago, 9-win season. The last couple years they've been pretty snake bit with injuries. Let's see what he can do now, having the facilities and the resources to go out and attract a larger number of great players throughout the Southeast. It's hard enough to recruit against Clemson, who has a Taj Mahal of a facility in the state. Georgia, who's right down the road, obviously. It's a tough spot for South Carolina, but now they actually have the resources and the facilities to contend. So I hope they give Will Muschamp some more time to see whether or not that impact is felt on recruiting and the roster can strengthen.
South Carolina runs it on 3rd down and 4, gets the first down. Clock will stop, and then they'll run it. Once they reset the sticks, we'll see if South Carolina snaps the ball again or if that's the last play of the 2019 season for the Gamecocks, who finished 4-8. They did go 3-5 in conference play, just 1 win out of conference with losses to Clemson, Appalachian State, and North Carolina.
One of the toughest schedules in the country. So difficult for South Carolina, but hopefully they'll bounce back here in 2020, be a contender in the SEC East yet again.
Clemson, meanwhile, improves to 12-0, 27 straight wins for Dabo Swinney and the Tigers, the longest active win streak in the country. They'll look to make it 28 in a row on ABC next week against Virginia in the ACC title game. And trying for their 3rd championship in the last 4 years, accomplished only by Nebraska and Alabama. Let's go to Tom.
Well, Coach, this team, compare it to your team a year ago at this same time.
I think this group's a little bit ahead. I think that I think our stats demonstrate that. I think we really have played dominant football in 11 of our 12 games. But at the end of the day, we're 12-0, just like that team. But you know, that team last year was special, and they made a decision to finish. You know, and it's one thing to get here; it's another thing to have the guts to finish, and that's the decision this team will have to make. But we're so excited to be 12-0, to win this. This is a huge game, an important game for a lot of people, and but now we got an opportunity to go play for our league championship, 4 quarters away from the playoff. So that's what it's all about now.
Once again,
enjoy this one today.
Oh, I know you will. Once again, a different opponent for you in the ACC championship game. How much are you familiar with Virginia to this point?
Well, I've seen them a couple of times on some crossover tape, and we actually got to watch the whole game yesterday driving down on the bus. So good football team. I'm going to tell you, Bronco Mendenhall, he's one of the class guys in the whole business, has done an unbelievable job with that program. And so we're excited about competing against another great champion from the Coastal, and same thing with VTech. What a great year they had, and that was a heck of a ball game. But Virginia came out on top. We're excited to represent the Atlantic. Look forward to it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Hard to imagine that Clemson still might be under the radar, being the defending champs, ranked 3rd and undefeated. But if anybody watched this game especially in the first half, Clemson's still as good as anybody in the country. 38-3, they roll South Carolina. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville, I'm Dave Pasch saying so long from Columbia, South Carolina. College Football Scoreboard is next.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference.